Good afternoon, nerd benches, broke benches, visitors to the tower. What's up, everybody? Weird afternoon time stream, but I did want to talk a little bit about the Snyder Cut, and we did not do that in the morning because I was so stinking tired, but we're going to do that right now, so we will get that going in just a little bit. If you could smash the like button, that would be fantastical. I had a question while we're about to get. Oh God, my voice. Well, we're about to get started. Do you personally think it's a coincidence that they did the boner joke and the reach around joke? I mean, come on, it's getting a little crazy out here. These dick jokes. It's like everywhere you go, it's a bunch of dick jokes flying around. Anyway, let's just get into it, everybody. What's up? Welcome to the little afternoon stream. I know we normally... Oh, God, that's going to be obnoxiously loud, isn't it? Awesome. I know we normally stream much earlier in the day, but honestly, we were exhausted. We watched the Snyder Cut together as a community. By the way, shout out to everybody that did come through and watch the Snyder Cut with us, all 4 glorious hours of it. Last night, all the Nerdvengers that were hanging out. But, man, were we delirious towards the end of that thing. Whew. I was like, I actually went back. I'm going to try to make this stream about an hour because then I have to try to get some rest because my voice is going and I'm not sleeping. It's a thing, but it was worth it because I had a blast watching this. And so I'm very excited to talk about this the film, the spoilers, my feelings on it. There is a video being worked on right now for the main channel, just so you know, that is more like, I guess, just an emotional reaction to the different things that were in it and why it's so much of a better movie than the other one. But there's also a bunch of like story kind of stuff that we can get into with regards to like the nightmare sequence, with regards to what is perhaps spoiled and set up, the branched timelines, the possibility of them continuing the nightmare timeline in some way or another, and the different aspects of that were actually set up in the prior DCEU films. Again, this is a weird story that when you go back and start to look at things and you recognize that, like, oh, so that's what Steppenwolf was going to be like, and then that Steppenwolf was perhaps going to make a deal with Joker or Death Strike or whoever. Who was Will Smith's character? Deadshot. Or something to that degree, right? Like, there was a lot of interesting things that could have been going on in the DCEU. Frankly, if I were a super hardcore DCEU fan, which I am not, I like the movies. I like Zack's stuff, but honestly, I sort of fell away from it around the time of BVS, right? I was like, it's not really doing it exactly for me. But if you are one of those people that were the biggest fan, I would be so pissed, dude, because it fell apart, and it seems to me like it really fell apart for no reason. There was a lot of good stuff here. I really, really liked the Snyder Cut a lot. Okay, so let's just put that right out there. It seems like a lot of fans are having a pretty positive experience with it. I've even seen a lot of critics having a positive experience with it. You know what I mean? It does seem like the majority of folks are having a good time with the Snyder Cut, which is really cool to see, man. It will be interesting to see how much it sort of trends throughout today, throughout the weekend, how much it is actually viewed on the app, and, you know, different metrics like that HBO Max is looking for, new subscribers and things of that nature. But just as a fan, that was like, okay, let's go on this Snyder Cut journey. Like, let's just see it. Far and away exceeded my expectations personally. Far and away exceeded them. And I really, really want to get into some of the biggest cool spoiler things that, you know, the more I've been thinking about the Snyder Cut, this thing keeps just kind of echoing in my brain. And that is that it's obvious that Snyder has respect for the comic booky aspects of these characters in a different way than other people do, for sure. And there is deconstructive elements to what he's done with these characters. Duh. You know what I mean? But I think what I'm saying is the Justice League movie that we got in, you know, what was that, 2018 or whatever, the Justice League film. That movie seemed so disrespectful in the sense that it was so shallow for the first Justice League. Like, the Avengers movie was dope, dude. And when they made that Avengers movie, that was, like, crazy. And by the way, Joss Whedon, right? Like, crazy, right? But epic movie, incredible. It encapsulates the characters. It brings that comic book feeling of that team-up book to the silver screen. And was epic and grand in many ways. When Justice League was coming out, a lot of people were like, okay, this is the time, right? Here we go. Like, now is your time to do all the epic, cool, crazy Justice League shit that you've never done before. And none of it happened. Like, it was so shallow. It felt so shallow. And so in this movie, like, just the little things like getting Martian Manhunter, having the older gods and, you know, actually seeing Diana's father. You know what I mean? Having a Green Lantern that dies and then a ring goes flying off. You know what I mean? Having literally like a branch timeline, an apocalypse. Like, do you guys understand what happened at the end of that movie? Like, let's just start there. Does everybody fully understand what happened at the end of that movie? Because what happened basically was we saw the nightmare timeline get created. Like, when Cyborg says, like, no, right? Like, he's seeing the nightmare timeline. He's seeing an inevitability. There's like a branching that happens at that moment. And that's when he sees, like, Diana's on the pyre. She's burning, like, Darkseid's just like, you know, ha ha ha. You know, that's when, like, you see him in Atlantis cutting people up. Like, and there's a lot of rumors about how that would have went down in the original version. And it includes crazy stuff with, like, Lex Luthor, the anti-life equation, Riddler, like, all this stuff that was gonna, like, it. I guess what I'm saying is, like, it was gonna get pretty freaking crazy, DC wild. It was gonna get really wild. I feel like it just never got the chance to get really DC wild. And what I mean is, like, okay, so Man of Steel feels very isolated to DC because there's no Batman, there's no Wonder Woman, nothing's really referenced. I think it was more or less designed as a standalone movie, right? There's some Easter eggs, but other than that, no. BVS is sort of like an attempt to be like, oh no, there's a ton of connective tissue, but even that is like weird. Like, you're telling me that Bruce Wayne and Clark Kent don't know each other? The fuck? And Metropolis is right next to Gotham, and they don't know each other? I don't know about that. You know what I mean? So, like, there's just like these gaps where it just felt like there was no respect to the living, breathing world of the comic book characters and the connection. And then it's like, you see this film, for me anyways, I see the film with Zach and I see, like, kind of the direction. I'm like, dude, no, it was there. It's just, they probably, like, the studio was like, nah. Like, we can't just have you doing all this stuff, building out all this crazy stuff. We just want to make Avengers money and just, you know, kick back and whatever. Because it is a different thing. It's like a slow burn, really character-driven thing. Because, like, so apparently, and again, this is sort of based on some leaks and some spoilers and things like that, right? But apparently, the scene where we see Cal, or Superman, holding that corpse, so that was going to be a situation in which Lois is killed in the Batcave in front of Bruce. And there's a subplot which wasn't touched on in the movie, at least I didn't see it really, like, touched on in the movie, where Lois, in her grief from, like, losing Clark or whatever, I think was going to form a relationship with Bruce. Yeah, I know, crazy. That's why the pregnancy thing might have been in the drawer. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But regardless, point is that what we see when Clark is holding that skeleton is perhaps when Darkseid tricks Cal into going somewhere else to fight. Cal literally says to Batman, hey, bro, don't let Lois die. She's my whole world. And Clark's like, yeah, no, she's my whole world too. Like, I fell in love with her when you were dead, dude, or whatever. He doesn't say it, but that's what he's thinking. And then Clark goes, Darkseid boom tubes in, like just full on just destroys Lois with Omega beams. That's her like skeleton there. He like fries her and tortures her in front of Bruce, who also loses the person he loves again. And so look, who knows if that's real or not. There's some speculation that pieces of that are being adapted in, that were brought in there. I have seen like a script and some sketches that indicate that some of that was at least at one point totally on the table, right? So, yeah, it's wild, dude. It's wild. I've been thinking a lot about it, dude. I think the thing that I keep coming back to is like, fucking why, dude? Like, why? But here's the other side of that. And let me ask you this before we get into like a little bit more of, what exactly they could do with these characters moving forward, and some of the spoiler things at the very end with Joker and Batman and some of that fun stuff, because it's really, really cool stuff. But I guess let me ask you guys this. Do you think that this movie now, the Snyder Cut Justice League in its current form today, with everything that happened in this exact timeline, do you think that we now have just a much better Justice League movie? That like this movie now is better because of all the bullcrap that happened? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat. Do you think that that might be the case? Because life's kind of funny that way, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny how that kind of stuff works out, right? Where you're like, well, that kind of sucked, but now I'm kind of doing this thing or whatnot, you know? The movie is better because it is better. Certainly. I guess what I'm saying is this potentially even better than what Zack would have done even back then, unadulterated? Or unaltered? I don't know, my brain's not working. I haven't slept. But that's what I guess what I'm getting at is like, do we think that it's even better than what it would have been had he just done it back then? You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm getting at. A lot of people are saying, yeah. Justin says, no. That's fair. That's fair. I will say, I have seen the sort of attitude espoused that, like, he had $80 million and, like, a ton of hindsight. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I don't think that he had the full benefit of his hindsight, because I do think as much as $80 million is dope, doesn't necessarily go all that far in the movie business. Especially when it comes to digital effects. I mean, I think that's really where all that money went, right? Was cleaning up these digital effects. Because, I mean, think about how digitally effect heavy this film was. Pretty wild. 40 minutes in, it's already... yeah. I think it's much better, dude. You know what I mean? That's just me. The Snyder Cut leak that came out in 2018 seemed to match up with this movie, including Martian Manhunter. Yep, that's true. That's true. This is true. I think my only nitpick is there's too much CG. Interesting. So some people are saying like it's way too slow at the beginning. I love the beginning of the movie. I think the first part where they're putting all of them together, where Bruce is recruiting them, this was what's so funny to me, is like that didn't work at all in the other movie for me, to the point where I was like, why is Batman even putting together a team like this? It doesn't necessarily make sense that it would be him to do it, right? And I didn't necessarily buy that Bruce really, like, I don't know, there was something about the performance, I think just because most of it was on the cutting room floor from the original one, where I'm like, what is the motivation with this dude? Like, I don't know, I don't get a full read on it. But in this one, I felt like the performance was much better. It's much more nuanced, and you just spend more time with that dude as he struggles to get this done, you know? I don't know, it worked for me. It worked for me. I'm wondering how people feel about it out there. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of one of those things where, you know, in the old days, we could say, like, oh, it's making this amount of money or et cetera, et cetera. We can't really do that now. One has to wonder, like, how do we know? How do we know how well it's doing? So here's what I think is cool about this, okay? Even if the OG leak for the Snyder Cut is real and that, like, that's pretty much what his 5-film arc was going to be, it seems like he jumped around a lot anyways, because the scenes at the end with Joker are, like, new, right? Like, that's sort of new in general, from what I understand. And it seems like they could go in some very interesting directions there. I mean, just frankly, that was just dialogue between them. I said this in my sort of review video that's dropping on the main channel, but that scene is just dialogue, and yet I was on the edge of my seat. I was super compelled, like, and I didn't even like Leto's Joker in Suicide Squad, dude, you know? But, like, that's in one scene, you make me feel like there's years of history. You make me feel like there's way more than psychosis going on there. This motherfucker's talking about multiple timelines. This dude's talking about, like, string theory and shit, you know? And just, like essentially pontificating about the multiverse. Loved it. You know? And their little, like, dick measuring contest and the reach around joke, all of it. I was like, this shit is on point, dude. It's like taking the relationship that we all know and using all the sort of background, just history that those two characters have, it's like we don't even necessarily attribute all of it directly to those exact characters, but we just know the history of those characters archetypically. And so when they say things like this, it just hits the feels where we're like, oh, yeah, man. You know what I mean? When he's egging him on about the Boy Wonder thing. Also, of course, pays off Jason's costume being in the Batcave the way that it was in BVS. Crazy, dude. Crazy. And how about Batman? I don't know if I ever, like, you know, maybe I'm just fanboying out too hard here, you know? But I'll tell you this. I don't know if I've ever thought I would like a line where Batman said, and believe me, I'm going to fucking kill you. I never thought in a million years I'd be like, yo, I loved it when Batman said it to the Joker, and I'm going to fucking kill you. I never thought I would see the day. But the day has come. Because goddamn was that line delivered fucking brilliantly, dude. Oh, man. That must have been a really fun day at Zach's house or wherever they filmed that shit with, like, Leto, even Amber Heard, you know what I mean? Like that was probably a wild little session of shooting. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yep. Yeah, it was cool. It's really cool. And I would love for them to continue it. Okay, let me just blabber about the continuation, a little bit of speculation about that, and then we'll get into Q&A. I'll do supers, and we'll just chat for a while, guys. Again, I felt bad about not doing a spoiler stream earlier in the morning when everybody was all hyped up and stuff. Like, I just passed out, dude. That 4 hours was crazy. Like, we're going to do Falcon and Winter Soldier tomorrow morning, but damn. 4 hours is nuts. So, I guess the big thing is, like, obviously Warner Brothers was waiting. They're waiting to see. Everybody's waiting to see. You know what I mean? And in some ways, this never fully made sense to me because I was like, waiting to see what, dude? You control the metrics. You're going to create content no matter what. You're telling me you're not going to create content. No, of course you are. Well, then you're obviously going to create content with the IPs that you have that are valuable. Like, you have some of the most, like, I just didn't understand it. I was like, this is crazy. But I think, frankly, the Snyder Cut and green lighting the Snyder Cut was such a radical move in the Hollywood space that I believe the people at AT&T felt that it was best for the company moving forward to perhaps just wait, see how this new crazy endeavor worked out with actual numbers before they were like, hey, Hollywood, you're a streaming platform now. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I guess they kind of did that anyway. But, from what I saw online, from what I've been seeing, it seems like critics are really into it. Even some people that were really skeptical before, seems like there's a lot of love, man. The Ryan Reynolds thing is crazy. Like, Reynolds is, I mean, it's pretty much came out there and been publicly announced that Reynolds wanted to be Green Lantern. Which, by the way, Green Lantern, did you see Kilowog? Put a 1 into the chat if you saw Kilowog in the Snyder Cut. I don't know if you saw him or not, but he's in there. Yeah, man. It would be so sick if they just gave dude like 50 to 100 to all the money there ever was to make just a little bit more. I just want a little bit more, dude. Like, that's where I'm at, is just a little bit more. But anyway. Let's get into Q&A. I will go through super chats, of course, but I did just want to chat as well. It's a pretty casual stream today, guys. We're not doing anything crazy. Honestly, I'm going to lose my voice if I stay in here too long, so let's just keep it chill. Lord Vito says, so far, this was the Man of Steel sequel I've been waiting for. I got an hour and a half left of watching. Dude, that's dope, man. I know you passed out on us last night. It's all good, bro. You're probably better for it, bro, because some of us are like hurting real bad. But no, that was great. It was cool to chill with you while you were in there, man. I'm glad. I know you're really excited about the movie, and I'm glad. I'm really excited about it too. Restore that Snyderverse, man. You know. Big Stevie says, I don't know how they just ignore this moving forward. People are loving this. As much as I love DC, Zack needs to finish it on HBO Max. He needs the freedom to not worry about length. Bro, you're 100% right. And, like, why wouldn't you? Like, okay, again, just think about the earned media that this thing has going on right now. All the eyeballs that are on Warner, HBO Max. I know not all of it's positive, but again, I never understood why they didn't take the momentum of this movement and use it to sort of skirt and create a new status quo for Warner Media, right? But whatever. I don't think they can ignore it. I guess the question is, how much are they willing to put into it? Is Zack willing to meet them there? You know, I don't know, man. They should just go ham, in my opinion, Steve. Like, dude, I would watch 3 to 4 more 4-hour movies like that. Like, imagine in the next 4 years or some shit, we got like 3 more of these, dude. Ugh, that would be amazing. Knight1223 says, what a freaking movie. It delivered. Warner could have gave us that instead of gave us trash. Thank God for Zack Snyder. That's what we deserved. 100%, bro. 100%. It's crazy. I tried not to crap too hard on the other version in the video, but like it just kept happening where I was like, oh, and this part was better, and this part was better, and this fucking part was better. It's like, yeah, pretty much all of it was better, dude. And like right away for me right away, I was like, oh, this is way better. And the music is a huge part of cinema. And the soundtrack changing makes the entire film feel different, even if there are scenes that are very similar. You know? It's brilliant. Random Gaming, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now. Zihola says, Marty, we have got to get back in time. Hashtag restore the Snyderverse. I know, bro, right? Dude, and I love how he went for it. But I mean, of course, like when you've got your chance, you got your shot, go for it. But here's what I can't decide. How much of this was proving that he was going for it back then? I mean, imagine if he had gone for it back then. And again, my brain is just like, but then I'm like, but would it have worked back then? Zack's classically a little ahead of his time. Maybe this was in some ways great for him as a creative, because if he gets the chance, like his Netflix thing is probably awesome, you know, the Zombie John. And then if he continues to do stuff like this, he could be breaking serious creative ground in the streaming space. That's awesome, dude. Good for him. you know? And it just so happens that tech and all that is lining up with it. It's pretty cool. Yeah. Big Stevie says, I got a sense that it was the Joker that killed her. Yeah, but why did she look like a costume, and why did Darkseid stand over Clark as he was holding her? I don't know, man. The leaks seem like they were probably I don't know. They feel like they were right to me. But in Injustice, it was sort of Joker, right? Wasn't that the thing that happened? Joker does it in Injustice. Big Stevie says, Zach has pretty much given us his plan for the story moving forward. Does he change it if HBO Max says go? I think he has to change it a little bit, because I think it's just we're too far. Some of the actors are not going to come back. I mean, this is why Diana was in the Nightmare sequence. She didn't come back to do any of the reshoots, right? And people were like, why isn't Gal Gadot doing any of the Snyder Cut reshoots? Snyderverse is not real. It never existed or whatever, right? And it's because, look, she's busy and whatever. She can't commit to anything. And she was actually never going to be in the Nightmare sequence or the Nightmare timeline anyway, according to the leaks. Kinsey Martin says, imagine Dark Knight's death metal Zack Snyder version of Muahaha. But bro, okay, so let's talk about that for a second. Kinsey. People out there saying like, oh, so Uxas could just get cut with an axe. Bro, that wasn't just an axe. Did you not see Ares doing his friggin' thing? Ares, the god of war. And to your point, that could have been like an nth metal thing. You know what I mean? A weapon from the cosmos or some crazy ancient thing like that. I mean, like, come on, man. I don't know. People are weird. Gavin says, when Joker said losing an adopted son, kill him. I know, right? It was wild, bro. And he did an incredible performance. Gotta give it to him. Gotta give it to him, man. Kevin Kavanaugh says, I don't get the Hero Park fight. It just doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure what you mean. I think what you're saying is like, why would Superman go there and then fight them? I think is what you're saying. So I don't exactly have an answer for that. It depends on if Clark was really dead or not, right? I don't know. But I think that the whole idea is like he wakes up and looks at his grave and he's just like struggling with the idea of having a grave, being dead, remembering his life and stuff like that, you know? So I don't know if I answered your question, but hey man, maybe you just didn't dig it, and that's cool too. Apar says, Josh, if you're Zach, what's your next move? Do you wait for Warner Brothers to come to you, or do you walk over to MCU and say what's up? I mean, there's no harm in taking a couple meetings, right? That's what I would say. I'd take a couple meetings. I mean, Marvel has a lot of stuff going on. I'm sure they could plug him in somewhere. But again, I mean, it just kind of depends. What does he want to do? You know what I mean? If Warner lets him play more in that sandbox, I say do it. And I think he feels as though he owes the fans. Like, his relationship with that fandom is really special. It's cool, man. So, if they would want more and he had the opportunity to do more, their desire for him to do more would weigh on him. Because he's a good fucking dude, you know? I'm not saying it should be that way. Maybe he needs to not do it. But, yeah. JT with the $10 holla says, after this, is Marvel going to disappoint tonight? I don't think so at all, brother. I don't think so at all. I just really liked the movie. You know, that's all that is. I just really liked the movie. I mean, we didn't even do a ton of Snyder Cut content leading up to it and stuff like that, right? You know, and we didn't do like a huge, I mean, we're going to do a vid, we're doing this stream or whatever, but like, hey, we'll see. I'm here for it. I'm here to support. But I don't know how much this hype will carry forward and keep going. Marvel has a whole universe of stuff going on. They have a very cool way to keep things cycling on the burner and keep hype circulating. DC does not. This is a movie that should have come out years ago. This is a blueprint for a cinematic universe that should have happened years ago. You know what I mean? So let's, pump our brakes on that. But I will say this is a beautiful moment that Snyder Cut fans should revel in, dude. This shit is dope. Like, this is, I'm gonna watch this thing again and again. I need to see how it ranks for me, you know? It's almost like there's 5 movies in here. I don't even know if it's fair to rank this movie with other movies. I don't know. Kevin House says, I love the movie, but that one scene just felt out of place to me. Right on, brother. Yeah, that can happen, man. Stevie says, Superman fought them because Cyborg defense system was triggered, and it told, yeah. But he did get, like, I don't know, aggressive, or I don't know how to explain it. I expect Batman series announcement and Cavill contract as well. Dude, that would be sick. Oh, okay, so let me say something to you, Steve. Let me make you a promise. If that happens, I will cover all that shit more, bro. I will cover all of DC shit way more. If they go in on Snyder stuff, I will go in on Snyder stuff. If they go in on it, I'll go in on it. That's what I'll do. But I don't know if they will, you know? Woo! Don't tease me like that. Josh would absolutely kill us for an 8-hour watch party. Wait, what 8-hour watch party? No 8-hour watch party is happening anytime soon. I'll tell you that. 8 hours? What? Any boners showing up tonight in Falcon and the Winter Soldier? Maybe. Godfather was impressed with it. Nice. Nice, dude. Ah, I love it. Oh, you want an 8-hour sequel? Oh, okay. Right on. Right on. Yeah, no, please don't do that, Zach. The respect when digging up Superman. Loved it. Yeah, dude. That was a cool scene. I'm at a 10, bro. I'm at a 10 with this shit. I fucking loved it. But I am just a big old fanboy. My opinion shouldn't really hold that much weight when it comes to reviews. I am not a reviewer. I walked out of episode 9 and was like, that shit's awesome. And then 3 months later, I was like, they ruined it. I mean, a watch party that long would be fun, but also, I mean, we did that 8-hour one for DC Fandom. There'll be other huge. I mean, and honestly, for certain things, I've thought about doing like a 12-hour live stream before for like charity and stuff, where we just hang out, watch movies, or cover news, or play games or something for like 12 hours or something for charity. 8.99, not impressed. That's cool too, man. Hey, you don't have to be impressed. It's all good. The movie was a masterpiece. I really liked it, dude. I really liked it. What's the story of Nightmare? Like the character or the nightmare sequence here? So, okay, so the anti-life equation. Okay, he wants to break Superman. That's what it is. He wants to break Cal. Now, this is something that's in the movie, and it's explained well, but there's so much going on that maybe you guys missed this. But when Superman died, the boxes, which are essentially like sentient computers that are evil. Like, they're not chill. Remember, Cyborg's like, there are adversaries. He says something like that. Regardless, those boxes, they could have called out to Darkseid and out there to Steppenwolf at any time. But it wasn't until the Kryptonian that was on the planet died that they began to call out. Right? So that's like why they think they need to bring him back and shit, and that's sort of like what sets off all of these crazy events. There's also the fact that when Darkseid was very young and he was just Uxas, he found the anti-life equation on this world, Earth. Now, he's so old, like Darkseid's so old, and he's destroyed over 100,000 worlds. So that, like, to him, he remembers, I think this is the way I'm kind of just making it up in my head canon, is like he remembers that world and being beaten, but he couldn't like tell you where it was at. Like legit. Do you know what I mean? Because that's obviously implied later when everybody's really surprised that he finds the anti-life equation, that it's on Earth. So what's the anti-life equation? The anti-life equation is a way to more or less instantly like turn one planet or that planet into apocalypse, and it allows you to turn all of the beings into like parademons, basically just making them into mindless drones that you can control. And it also allowed him to control Superman. So that in the Nightmare timeline and in the end of the Snyder Cut, when if you remember, Barry has to go back in time to allow Cyborg to then get into the mother boxes to separate them, and then like Clark helps them and they separate the mother boxes, right? So if you remember the shot where it's like a pullback shot of the Earth and there's that blue light and then there's that doom. When that happened and Barry like sees the Earth basically just disappear, it's because it was sort of instantly terraformed by the Unity and the anti-life equation. Like, that's basically what happens at the end there, and then Barry kind of undoes it. I know it happens, like, super fast, and so it's like, you know, whatever. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty wild. It's pretty wild. So that sequence from there leads to the Nightmare timeline. Adam says, my only real complaint for the film was the Flash character felt like the Wally West Flash. Yeah, I agree. Then Barry. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm just not super fond of Ezra Miller's portrayal. I know some people like it, like Abby. I'm not that into it. He didn't undo it. He just made a new timeline. I think that's very possible, man. I think that's very possible. I think that would be really fun to explore. I loved when Joker said, I wonder how many multiple timelines you let, like, what does he say? Like, you let the world die because you don't have the cojones to do it yourself or something like that. It was wild. 97% audience score? Nice. Yeah, that's where Kilowog is in one of the nightmare sequences in the busted up Hall of Justice, where Superman's floating and he has the head of the Batman's head. Look down, you can see Kilowog in the rubble. Will Joss Whedon get the boot from Hollywood? No. But Hollywood's like barely open right now, and I'm sure he won't get a lot of like great work, but he'll get a lot of ghostwriting work. He does a lot of writing work anyways that he doesn't. I think he does a lot of uncredited writing work. I don't know. I'm pulling that out of my ass. I'm sure he'll be fine. He's still got royalties, I think. Yeah, the running is so weird with the Flash, but I think I kind of understand it because he's essentially saying that he's like almost like, think of it like he doesn't have any limits. So even when he's going like breaking the rule and going that fast, he doesn't have to like try hard. So we're used to the Flash of like and he has to like try. This Flash, my interpretation of it is that when he's in the Speed Force, it's like it's a relativity thing. That it's not so much that he has to do effort to go faster, that it's like he's like slip spacing his momentum through and like barely touching, and he knows that like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm just trying to make sense of it. Yeah, for sure, man. Far better. Dude, that shit was sick. When he busts out of his shoes like that, I was like, yo. Yeah, that was really cool. Although, again, what's up with the hot dogs, bro? Like, that scene's weird with the hot dogs. Like, why does he gotta be like, I don't know. It was weird. But that scene's great. The way he, like, sort of cradles her and like puts her like arms like that, and oh yeah, yeah, they just had to have a boner moment, didn't they? Cyborg was a lot better, for sure. A lot better. And yeah, I think that is Iris, yeah. And she's confirmed to be in the Flash movie, I believe. The hot dog was for the real dogs. I know. I know. And that was weird too, though, because it seemed like so out of nowhere. I don't know. I guess that would be the explanation for him. I guess what he was thinking was, this would be the explanation for why I'm not where I was standing just a second ago. I don't know. Yeah. Henry Cavill as Superman forever or bust, says Joey Ebbs. Yeah, man. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of the Cavill myself, dudes. Flash was the comedian. Yeah. Dude, when it gets all liquidy, when he like first touches the glass and it like goes all liquidy, oh, that was great. Yeah, there's a lot of really beautiful stuff in this film for sure. Discussion at the end was sick. Yeah. Score was a 9. Yeah, the score is incredible. I really like the score, dude. The score was hot. Score was hot. Was Snyder's original plan part 1 and part 2? Movie was way better, but did he think in the beginning those 4 hours was okay? So, yeah, how do I answer that? I don't know. He writes and I think just drafts story ideas and shoots just slowly. Like there's a lot of, it reminds me of Kurosawa actually. Like there's just a lot of atmosphere. A lot of like quiet moments with the characters' facial expressions. You're spending time with the characters doing things. Being inside the mind of Vic, and then when he is made the offer by the mother boxes to be normal again and all that, and to have like, that was really cool. So there's a lot of like visually cool stuff that happened with like the show don't tell aspects there. Yeah, good stuff. Let's see here. Stevie says breaking Ralph Boner signed to play Green Lantern. Amen. Robert says thoughts on Leto Joker. I loved it, dude. I did not like him in the other the Suicide Squad, but this scene was incredible. The scene was so compelling, man. I talked about it a little bit earlier, but yeah, it hits the feels, it hits the history of the characters. It feels right. And it does sort of cross into a darker Mad Max version of them too, right? I mean, Batman's literally like, and don't get me, and believe me, I am gonna fucking kill you. I was like, oh shit, like, go on, Batman, you know. Ray Gunner Gaming says hashtag restore the Snyderverse. Amen, dude. I'm hoping that the hype continues through the next couple of days. I'll be watching it again over the weekend myself. Pretty excited. The scene did arguably steal the show. What a great little scene at the end, huh? Super cool. Yeah, or we see Ray Gunner, or we see the Ayer cut, and we get a much better performance of even Leto in that movie. Oh, right on, man. Right on, Frederick, for sure. All right, guys, I'm probably going to get out of here in like 10 minutes just because like I am going to lose my voice, and I should probably try to get some sleep. After dark tonight, 9 p.m., the guys will be taking you through the nerdy business of the week, talking some Snyder Cut, I'm sure, getting you ready for Falcon the Winter Soldier, and then we'll be doing our watch party and our stream early tomorrow morning. Talking about the spoilers for Falcon and the Winter Soldier. If Martian Manhunter turns into Ralph Boner, I'm going to flip. Dude, right on, Jake. Hype for AD. I know. I don't know if I'm going to watch a lot of it, though, Abby. I'm going to be honest. I'm so tired. I'm so tired. I have half of mine to set up after dark right now and then just go to sleep, to be honest. But I want to upload the Snyder Cut video later when Elisa's done with it. Release the Ralph Boner cut, says Ray Gunner Gaming. Why not? Why not? Adam, welcome to the Nerd Vengers. You are a Nerd Venger now, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Over 40 hours with no sleep? Okay, I'm not a doctor. I'm gonna say that's bad, though. I don't think that's good. Someone double check me. I'm going to say that's probably not the best. I know, right? Yeah, she needs some sleep for sure. 78% tomato meter, 160 reviews, fan score of 97. That is pretty good, dude. Bell. Jesus. I'm too hyped for the dirtiest, though. I know, but you need sleep, though. It's not gonna be worth it if you have a bad crash. Oh my goodness. Now I'm worried. All right, guys, we're gonna get out of here. Everybody go to bed. Also gotta work 2 jobs. Oh my god. No. Get some sleep. We're gonna do a watch party. We're gonna do a watch party. We're just gonna put on some like lullabies and just everybody. All right, everybody. All right, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate all the love and support. Just wanted to hop in, do a quick little stream about Snyder Cut spoilers because we didn't do one this morning. We'll be back at it later, okay? As I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I will see you in the next video.